Hey y'all, hi. Hello, welcome to the video, welcome to my channel. If you've never clicked on a video before, let me tell you, my name is Hannah. I make a lot of fashion videos these days, theory of fashion, concept of style, but I also love to review products, and my channel started as a beauty channel. I still make a lot of beauty content, actually, and today I'm gonna really indulge in the part of myself that loves to just give frank, thorough, passionate reviews of products. So I have here before me a whole bunch. Do you think I can get through all of this? What was I thinking? I'll do my best, but this might be one of those videos. This might be one of those leisurely, put it on in the background while you clean the entire kitchen top to bottom kind of videos. One of those knit an entire sweater videos, paint an entire painting. Anyway, it's a mix of things that I bought with the channel's budget because I wanted to review them, things that I bought with my own personal budget because I wanted to own them, and things that brands sent to me for me to review. As always, I have a lot to say, so let's get right into the meat of the video. And you know what? I'm gonna organize. Sometimes I just go in, but I have like categories today. Pardon me. Okay, so it's actually a bunch of skincare. I have skincare, a bunch of scent, makeup, and then the category that I'm going to start with, which is kind of like the skincare makeup hybrid category. It's like lip products that are skincare, but that are also cosmetic in some way. A category in which I'm deeply invested. Not really a swatch for the ages, but you can get the idea. So this is the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in the shade, the flavor Birthday Cake. And I have this because I recently got to go to the Creators and Friends Influencer Retreat in the Catskills. It's this amazing event organized by my friends Simbri and Samantha. I'll link their information down below and the Creators and Friends info down below. This is the third Creators and Friends retreat that I've been on. It was absolutely delightful, as they all have been. It is just really, really nourishing and has ended up being vitally important for me to connect with other people in real life who do my same job. And if it wasn't for this event, actually, I think I would barely ever have done that. It is weirdly lonely work. On the first night, we played a game at Creators and Friends. People brought gifts, and most of them were just like a wrapped gift that was a handful of beauty products. And I'll spare you all the details, but essentially there was a bunch of dice rolling and gift unwrapping, and it was like a white elephant where you steal the gifts. If you roll the right number on the die, you get to steal somebody's gift, and then it can be stolen back. So it was very chaotic. There was a lot of stealing gifts all over the place. And the thing that I kept stealing back and then that kept getting stolen from me is actually later in this video. It was a bundle that had one thing in it that I really wanted. This isn't that thing, but this happened to also be in that bundle, and luckily for me, I ended up with it at the end of the game. However, I do remember talking about this in, I think, a new makeup hot takes a long time ago. I really like the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm, and it has come out in a bunch of flavors. Some of them have been great. Some of them have been very strange. And this one I think was limited edition, and then maybe not anymore, was coveted. I started testing it so that I could review it for you. It is all that's on my lips right now. You can see that it doesn't have much color. I mean, it's very pale pink, but it's translucent and it kind of melts into nothing. But it gives a nice glossy, kind of, yeah, like an icing effect. Really pretty, fresh, low impact, very easy to wear, and something that kind of straddles that line between makeup and totally not makeup, totally skincare, more than a more pigmented balm like this would do. And I like that about it. Like, I love my incredibly beautiful but also super nourishing liquid balms. My two favorites are EADEM Boba Bounce, which is like the product of the century. I don't have it on me right now, but I've been wearing it in every video, and you all have noticed. You all have been clicking through that link to Boba Bounce. And I don't blame you, because I feel like as soon as one of those videos starts playing, the first question to anybody should be, what is on your lips? Because it just is such a beautiful product. Anyway, I don't have that here. I love it. It's so beautiful, but it's so nourishing for the lips. The formula is so good that I would totally wear it as like an overnight mask. But because it has that pigment in it, and I feel the same way about Rhode Espresso, very nourishing, but because it has that pigment, I tend to register it more as makeup. And so I would feel funny putting it on as a lip mask. Like, I don't put it on to sleep at night. This, even though It looks good with a makeup look. It's sheer enough and skincare enough that I would wear it at night as a lip mask. So that's why I say that this has 1 foot more squarely in skincare than some of my other similar products. But it still has the thrill of makeup, the scent and the flavor. It's just confetti cake. And I really love confetti cake. I must confess to you here at the beginning of the video, I really love confetti cake. It's pretty sweet and intense and makes a child out of me, I feel, the flavor and the scent, but it works for me because I, as you may or may not know, really love confetti cake. So this is a hit for me. I'm glad that I have it. I wouldn't have bought it. I would feel like I wouldn't have been able to take myself seriously just waltzing into Sephora and buying the birthday cake lip butter balm. But now that I have it, I feel like I'm going to be looking for it all the time. I'm going to be like, where is that? That's the one that I want. Go figure. Now, here's something that I do take myself seriously waltzing into Sephora and buying. Like, this is the kind of thing that I would waltz into Sephora and buy. And in fact, that's exactly what I did do with this. I bought this for review, but also because I really was intrigued by this. I think that this brand is new at Sephora. The brand is called MAED, and this is the Revive lip balm in the shade Reckon. This is a lip treatment, the Reset Lip Serum. I got them both for review. This is exactly the kind of thing that I'm the most interested in makeup right now. I didn't know which shade to get. Reckon looked really dark in the swatches, and even though Espresso is very dark from Rhode and Boba Bounce is also very dark, the color looks very dark, but then that's my favorite shade, right? When it shears out on my lips, in use, in practice, those are my favorite shades because they're like that brown, you know, that sheer brown. Even so, I was a bit daunted. This also comes in like an almost clear and in like a mid-tone sort of tawny reddish orangey brown that I almost got. And then at the last minute, I was like, no, this is definitely my color and we'll see how sheer it is. And I'm really glad that I chose this color. It looks quite dark in the swatch. You can see why I was daunted. I'm going to put it on my lips though, and you can actually see. I can already tell, y'all, we're going to be here for a long time. I mean, you already know how long the video is because you can see. You know what you are getting yourselves into, but I didn't until just now. Really sheer, really wearable on the lips. In practice, when it's on, I actually feel like this is less pigmented than both Boba Bounce and Rhode Espresso, my two reigning champions. And it's also a little bit less brown than both of those, just a little bit, but it is still that sort of berry brown, right up my alley, very beautiful and something out of which I will get a lot of use. However, I don't think it has unseated either of those two. It's a bit thinner. It's not thin by any means. It's not like unsatisfyingly thin. It's just that Boba Bounce is so, the EADEM one is so sort of lip coating and line smoothing. Both of those are, both the Rhode and the EADEM. And I'll link both of those down below too. I'm sorry I don't have them here. I'm using them as touch points for comparison and I don't have them here, but you've seen me talk about them so much, a lot of you. If you're familiar with those, I would say this is just a ever so slightly lighter and ever so slightly visually lighter in color and in pigment, just ever so slightly lighter than both of those. Those are both pretty thick, heavy duty. And this is, you know, still nourishing, still very visible, right? Still very visible on the lips, but just a bit lighter. And in that way, it feels extremely luxurious to me. Like this feels like the most luxe option of the three. I think that this gold applicator is very beautiful. It feels incredibly luxurious when it's going on. It's just like beautifully done. Like very, very beautifully done. And it wears well throughout the day. I've worn it a bunch of days in a row now. It doesn't stay on as long as the one from EADEM, Boba Bounce. Like I wore it for a meeting, a long meeting, like an hour and a half meeting, and I was talking a lot in the meeting. And by the end of the meeting, I felt I needed to reapply, but it wears beautifully. It doesn't pill or do anything weird, and it wears elegantly. So if you've been eyeing MAED at Sephora and you're curious, I have nothing but good things to say about it. But if you have been wondering how this compares to Boba Bounce, for example, which I feel like is its kind of closest contender. I really like the intensity, the punch of EADEM Boba Bounce, but I think that based on what I've already said, you'll know if this would be a better choice for you. And I like it way better than the other shades of the EADEM lip balm, the liquid balm. I have one other shade of it and I like this better. So it really does hold its own. The lip treatment from MAED, it's clear and you just, you know, click it up and then use it, and it's supposed to be plumping, and it's one of those things where it's supposed to, I think, plump in the short term, but also have like lasting effects if you use it every day for a month or something. You're supposed to be able to see results. I don't know. It is pretty stimulating. It's like a little bit aggressive, but it doesn't cause redness on me, which I really like. I have noticed though that when I use this and let it soak in, as they say you're supposed to do, it's stingy, it's a bit plumping, and then I put other lip products on top. Sometimes I can get a little bit of pilling. It might just be the skin of my lips being exfoliated by this product. It might be the product itself, but I have found that I prefer to use this as like a prep treatment pretty early on in the day, and then make sure that I kind of wipe it off and clean up my lips before I apply another product. More in the same category. I got this Topicals Slick Salve Balm in Papaya because I had talked about it in New Makeup Hot Takes so much. And there were like mixed feelings, mixed feedback in the comments. Some people really like it. Some people said it was very sticky. I'm intrigued by this because this is the kind of product that I'm really drawn to. And this is the third color / flavor that Topicals has released. They had like a mint one that was pretty much clear. They had an acai one that was a berry that I was drawn to, but I was worried it would be too pink, like too pinkish red for me and not have that grounding brown that I prefer. And then when this one was released, I was like, aha, that's the one that I will try. However, in person, the color is, it's kind of like a burnt peach. It's almost like a reddish peach, and it's a bit milky. It's not as sheer as I thought it would be, and I don't love the way that it looks on my lips. I guess I'll put it on because that's what we're doing. You can see, right? I'm sure some of you will prefer this look because it's a little bit more of a makeup look. I don't know. It's a little bit past Hannah for me. I used to really love this color on myself. I am so completely head over heels for the like brownish, either the cool toned brown or like the brown nude of MAED Reckon and the other ones that I've been talking about. But this just feels like a step away from what I want. And when there are so many things giving me what I want, it's not what I want. It can't hold a candle to them, right? This is what it looks like for those of you who've been wondering. I think it looks a little bit different on me than it looks in all of the product photography. It's just peach is the only word for it. Maybe burnt peach. But this isn't the only problem. The color isn't the only problem. Those of you who have said that it's sticky, you're right. It's sticky. When you first put it on, it's very, very thick and sticky and almost difficult to apply, but then it kind of warms up, sinks into the lips, and becomes a little bit less problematically sticky like to other things. Well, maybe not though. Like one's hair would really, really stick to it and it would feel like it goopily got onto that hair. Unlike with something like this, hair might briefly stick to it, but it would release very easily and it wouldn't feel like it had gotten in your hair. You know, this is really intense though. What I will say for it is that it lasts a long time. The fact that it's so sticky means it has that stick-to-itiveness. So I've tested it a couple of times, put it on, and then hours later, it's like, it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. But for this product, it's not really a good thing because not only do I not like the color, but I don't really like how it feels. It's almost like it has made a waterproof layer, like plasticky layer that kind of sticks to itself. I even feel like it has made my plosives a bit unappealing to listen to because it's sort of like sticking and popping. And I did apply a lot. I mean, I applied a lot because I wanted you to see what it looked like, but I tend to apply a lot of products like this because I'm trying to, they're skincare, but I'm trying to wear them as makeup. It's doing that thing where it's sort of a thick plasticky layer that settled into my lips, but then the wetness of the inside of my mouth is encountering the waterproof stickiness of the lip product on the inside edge of my lip, and they're like not getting along. So there's this weird line, like I can feel the edge of the lip product sort of half inside my mouth on my lip. And it's a little gross because it feels like bits of the lip product are going to sort of float free and get in my mouth and be floating around. That's an issue that I once in a while have with products like this. And I have had it with this. So I'm not really a fan. I think it's got intense longevity. It's got shine. I think that it might be a better fit in one of the other colors for me personally. Hopefully that helps you. This is from Experiment World. It's the Softwear Smoothing Lip Treatment in the shade 0. I don't know if they have pigmented shades, but this is the clear one, so I'm not going to do a swatch on the back of my hand, but you know, you can get the idea. This was PR. They sent it for review along with a couple of other skincare items, which I'll get to in a minute. This has the same issue that I was just describing. It's really plasticky thick, like it creates that thick layer on the lips. It's great for locking in moisture. This is an overnight treatment. I'm sure that quality, well, I've been using it as an overnight treatment. That's not what it is. It says for everyday softness, apply as needed. For extra care, apply a thick layer in the PM. So yeah, it's intended for use as an overnight like lip healing product. And I've been using it that way to test it. And it does work. I mean, it locks in moisture, it helps the lips heal, but it has that uncomfortable, it's really thick, hard to spread out. It has that thing where the wetness inside of my mouth creates an edge with the plasticky layer, and then they're almost like this right at the edge, almost like dampness is going to get in under the product from the back inside my mouth. I don't know, this sounds absolutely bananas. I hope that some of you know what I'm talking about. I just don't enjoy slathering it onto my lips, even last thing at night, when usually pretty much anything will do to keep my lips from drying out overnight. I'm just not getting along with it, and I'm not getting along with topicals, and it's for the same reason. And I gotta take this off. It's even like really sticky. It has left behind a really sticky feeling on my lips. I might give that away. I don't think I want to put it on again. Okay, so we're back to MAED Reckon, which I forgot to say has a very pleasant and unusual scent and flavor. It's almost like an herbal tea, or like a tea flavored jam, or like a light herbal jam, and I really like it. All right, let's dig into real skincare, other skincare. I mean, that was real. That was like skincare for the lips. Let's dig into some interesting skincare that I've been testing. Merit's new cleanser is amazing. It's a biphase foaming cleanser, which is so weird, but it doesn't foam because it's like a soapy thing. It foams because of the pump, like the dispensing mechanism, which I didn't expect it would foam like that. I was very surprised the first time I opened it. So it's the Great Skin Double Cleanse Face Wash. I think that's amazing about it is because it's biphase, it has an oil component. So I feel like I can use it both as a first and as a second cleanse. It is oily enough to remove makeup, but it's beefy enough, sort of soapy enough to sort of do the work of really getting the rest of it cleansed away and sort of the emulsified makeup cleansed away. So I will sometimes use this, a pump or two, as a first cleanser, like as an oil cleanse, to emulsify my mascara, really loosen the makeup and SPF from my skin, rinse, and then I'll use like another pump or two as a second cleanse. And I have never, ever had a face cleanser that I could use that way. It's always had to be two separate products, one to kind of emulsify an oil cleanse or balm, and another as like a soapier cleanse to make sure that my skin is totally clean. That is pretty amazing. I went on a trip recently and this was the only cleanser that I took. A sturdy, resilient bottle, so it's great for travel, and if nothing else, there's that to recommend it. However, I also feel like it leaves my skin very soft. They really knocked it out of the park. Let's talk about masks. My friend Julene, who was an esthetician the entire time that we were living in the same city in our 20s and knows a lot about skincare, and I used to once in a while get facials from her. She really loved this brand. I think that it's a brand that a lot of skincare professionals, estheticians, people in the world of spas like a lot. I have these because Derm Store, which is like an online retailer for a lot of different skincare products and devices, offered to send me a couple of products, and this is what I chose from their website because I didn't have anything with which to mask in the bath. I love to get in the bath, get my Kindle, read for like an hour, and mask the entire time. And I've been doing that a lot, and come to think of it, that's also probably one of the reasons that my skin has been in quite good shape, because I've been using one, two, or all three of these masks at a time, not mixed together, like one after another, a couple times a week now for a while. So let me quickly tell you about them. The brand is actually called Eminence Organic Skincare. Eminence Lime Stimulating Mask. So it's like a gel, smells really good, fresh, intense, and it has stinging nettle in it as one of the ingredients, and it stings the face, but not in like a really owy way, not in a distressing way. It's supposed to be stimulating blood circulation and kind of resurfacing and making the skin extremely receptive to what you put on after it. It's pretty stingy, but I don't mind that. I feel like I've had amazing results from this. I love putting this on and leaving it on for like 5-10 minutes and then washing it off, and my skin does feel really sort of flushed and receptive, and then using one of the other two, which are more soothing. So the Stone Crop Mask, which is also kind of a jelly, it's also really herbal and like slightly dirt smelling, but in a good way. And it brings me back because Julene used to use this on my skin a lot. This is good for calming redness. Stone Crop, I think, is really good for healing and moisture. It's very, very soothing. They make a good pair, right? Using the lime stimulating mask, washing it off, and then using the Stone Crop mask. But I think even more than the Stone Crop mask, I like this one. This is the Firm Serum Skin Acai Mask. I think I remember this one having a lot of sea buckthorn oil in it. And for some reason over the years, I've learned that my skin just absolutely loves sea buckthorn oil. This feels just a little bit more intensely nourishing and hydrating and healing to the skin, a little bit more intensely than the Stone Crop mask. That's like a little bit more lightweight. So I think probably my favorite pairing is Lime Stimulating and the acai, but I'm getting a lot of use out of the Stone Crop mask too. I love having really good, intensive cream masks to use when I'm taking a bath, and it's been a long time since I had them, and these have just gotten me together. A couple of those masks in the bath for 10 or 20 minutes each, a lightweight serum, and then either the Youth to the People Super Berry or the Telova balm in a thick layer all over my face, and I wake up the next morning and it's like every skin cell on my face has birthed a baby to replace itself. Okay, a couple of other skincare products I've been testing. INNBEAUTY Project, which I remember from back in the day when they first launched, has that amazing lip glaze. They make an amazing lip product that is a glaze. They've branched out Recharge Gel Cream. I was really excited about this because I like INNBEAUTY product. I love a gel cream, and I like having something that I can kind of put on my skin when I've just washed it or when I'm going to put makeup on soon, just like layering lightweight things for day. I really like that kind of thing. There's something about the texture of this though. I haven't bonded with it. As you saw, it pumps out as a cream and then it starts to melt as a lot of gel creams do. It sort of melts to a more gel texture, but then it goes even further than that and it kind of goes to like a watery, it suddenly becomes like water on the skin. It's like one of those superheroes in mutant movies where it's like it can be solid or a liquid. I guess there are a lot of things other than superheroes that can be both solid and liquid, but it's because it's so sudden, right? You think that you're working with a gel cream and then suddenly it's like bleh, like splash. It's just like on. But then it feels like it's going to soak in. It goes to like a water. It feels like it's going to soak in and be nothing, but then it becomes something again, sort of a layer, but almost silicone-y. And I don't think there's silicone in it. I'm not saying it's like, it almost becomes like a silicone primer feeling. It's so weird. It's so weird. It goes through all of these phases. And then I'm left with this kind of silicone primer, Benefit Professional kind of feeling. And it feels like it's not receptive to other skincare products. It feels a little bit slippery. It feels a little bit slippery in sort of an oily way. As I try to describe it to you, I realize how bizarre it is. And it's just supposed to be a moisturizing step. And it's heavy duty skincare, right? Orchid stem cells, peptides, minerals. There's something about the cosmetic elegance of it. It's not ham-fisted. It's clearly trying to do something specific and unusual with the way that it applies to the skin. But there's something about it that just I am not appreciating. It just isn't really working for me. It's both too much and not enough at the same time. Similarly, and I'm still trying to figure these ones out because they're pretty new. I've had this for weeks and every time I use it, I'm like, I didn't really enjoy that. These I've only had for a couple of days, but this one, I've been like, the jury's kind of still out. Experiment World Super Saturated Hydrating Barrier Serum, 30% glycerin. And I think that you could see in the footage of me squirting out the pump for a swatch, you could see that, right? Those sticky strings. So that's why I've been like, that's just strange. It's unusual, right? It's not strange, but it's just unusual. It's different. And it's given me pause. However, when it goes onto the skin, it feels great. It's not like it pills or makes a weird layer or leaves behind a strange finish like the one from INNBEAUTY Project does, which by the way, this is like so luxurious, right? This is in such a luxurious bottle. Really nice. This is the opposite. It feels like extremely accessible, just like this little plastic pill, very easy to travel with. I think it's not a small amount of product. It's just, it's actually more than an ounce, 1.3 fluid ounces, 40 milliliters. It's just that they haven't bulked up the packaging to make it seem like more than it is or bigger than it is. I actually really appreciate that. I appreciate that it's not going to break if I drop it on the tiled floor of the bathroom. It's really attractive in a lot of ways. And then it's stringy and stretchy when you squirt it out. It's a little bit like, ugh. But then when it goes onto the skin, it's fine, right? It sinks in, it behaves well. And I think it's 30% glycerin. That's what it says on it. I think that's why it is stretchy like that. But I can only assume that that's for a good reason, that is a good ingredient, a humectant concentrate for otherworldly hydration. I can only assume that is because that level of glycerin, this concentration is really good for the skin. And they've chosen to go there and to sacrifice like a smoothness and non-stretchiness in the pumping moment that other brands might not have been willing to do because it is potentially off-putting to some people, but for reasons of effectiveness, I can only assume. So I'm going to keep using it. I can so easily see myself just using this straight up, like a pump or two after every shower, probably after every time I wash my face, like morning and night, a pump or two, and just going straight through it and being like, wow, that was a great sort of initial, easy to use, hydrating barrier serum. This one actually says stretchy on it. I guess I can see why they said that. Maybe like a little bit stretchy, but this is more just like a good cream. It's just a good cream. This is also a barrier cream, a stretchy emulsion for a barrier that bounces back. Molecular mesh barrier strengthening moisturizer. So again, I've only been using these two products for a couple of days. I think that they have surprised me a little bit with their textures. Like neither one of them has made me go like, this is so lovely. I am so excited to use it. But they just feel really accessible, really practical. It feels like they are formulated for the exact thing that I'm trying to do, which is just to like hydrate, nourish, strengthen the barrier, make my skin resilient and healthy and plump. Feels like it feels like we're all on the same team. I appreciate that and I'm optimistic. And I'm much more likely to reach for them than for the one from INNBEAUTY project. Okay, quickly, lastly, just two products that I've mentioned before and that I'm still using. And because I told you, I'm doing just some basic things with my skin, but I feel like it's going well. My skin's in really good shape. I didn't want to do that without telling you that I'm still using both of these. And I think that they're both contributing. And weirdly, they're both like mother themed. So this brand is called Mother Load. And this is the #1 serum, which is the vitamin C serum. It is just so elegant. It reminds me of the old Drunk Elephant vitamin C. Kind of reminds me of that. I mean, I think that that's still their vitamin C, but it's old for me because I used to use that. It reminds me of that, but just like a really, I don't even want to waste it. I'm showing you this tiny dot. It has that sort of spicy smell, spicy herbal. It's really lovely, really cosmetically elegant, leaves a beautiful finish on the skin. It's just a beautiful vitamin C serum, okay? A strong vitamin C serum, you will definitely see the results. And I feel like I'm seeing some brightening and glowiness from using a little bit of that in the mornings. Looks almost exactly the same, and the same thing. I feel like I've used almost all of this and I don't want to waste any, but this is also a brightening and like dark spots and fine lines addressing product that does something similar to what vitamin C does, but it is with a different ingredient called malacezin. And I feel like I've seen a difference in my skin, the tone of my skin with both of these. So I wanted to mention them. And that's it for skincare. Been filming for an hour over here. Y'all, I don't think I can dig into scent yet. I think I need to refresh myself a little bit by talking about makeup first. And I thought I had a lot of makeup in the bin, but it's not that much. So I'll have a little bit of a palette cleanser from the intense, descriptive, like spilling forth. And I will just tell you about a couple of lovely pieces of makeup. So this is an oldie but a goodie. When I was gathering things together for this video, I was like, I should tell them that I have repurchased the REFY concealer now in both colors. So I have replaced both shade 1, which is the really, really bright one, and shade 3. Shade 1 was always the one I used the most. And then shade 2 I think is like pink. And then shade 3 is extremely neutral. It's that like gray-green that I really like, but it was a tiny bit dark before. Now though, I've been getting more sun this summer, I think, than I got last summer. And now I've been using shade 3 all over my face. And when I use shade 1, it almost makes me look extremely made up, like very contoured. But I bet as we move into the winter, shade 1, I'll start leaning more heavily on shade 1. I'm not going to talk much about this because I actually did like a whole review, like a whole video reviewing only this product, but it was a long time ago. So I'll just link that video rather than even telling you anything about this right now. I still feel the same about it. I still think it's one of the most extraordinary complexion products we've seen in our lifetimes, and I'm still using it a lot. Okay, look at this. So pretty. So this was also part of the Creators and Friends exchange. Someone else had put it in one of their gift bags and I ended up with it. It is the Urban Decay Glazed Liquid Eyeshadow in Silver Spooning. It is such a weird product, the delivery mechanism. It's a liquid eyeshadow, my friends, but it's in this tube. You have to screw the lid on and then shake it, and it has one of those little ball bearings in it that helps mix it up. But you have to do that because the brush is just this little paintbrush that's only that long, that only goes that far into the bottle. It doesn't go all the way down like a doe foot does. So in order to get anything onto the brush, you have to shake it and get the ball bearing to kind of shake it up enough to apply enough to this brush so you can take it out and use it. And my experience with it is that it's quite sheer. So I just sort of spread it around with the brush. You see that? It's like a sheer wash of grungy, silvery champagne that dries down. Isn't that beautiful? I really, really love it. I really love it. I was so excited. This was actually, I opened this in the game and someone could have stolen it from me, but I think everyone saw how much I loved it when I first opened it, that nobody stole it from me. They were all kind enough not to steal it. I really love it. However, I think that this is one of those situations in which innovation or the desire to innovate kind of bit them in the butt, because I mean, it hasn't caused me any problems, but I don't understand why it's like this. I haven't had it for that long. The brush isn't more effective than a doe foot would be. And I can imagine that as I start using it up and the level gets lower and lower, it'll be very frustrating that I can't like reach into it and get it out. Time will tell whether or not this innovation in packaging, this attempt to reinvent the wheel, is a bust or not, or if there's something about it, some advantage of it that I haven't yet been able to suss out. But the liquid itself is really lovely. It does dry down to a pretty sturdy eyeshadow. It is very subtle. It's a subtle sheen. It's not a really, the swatch is very beautiful and reflective, but it's pretty subtle. I like that. At this phase of life, I'm really into that. It's like the naked version of a liquid eyeshadow. They could have called it naked and glazed liquid eyeshadow, and that would have made sense. It feels like it's part of the naked oeuvre. But gosh, the color, just everything about it is so the kind of thing that I'm into. And speaking of the kind of thing that I'm into, most of this video is new stuff, but I just wanted to throw this in here because I have pulled this out of my old makeup. This is something that came in PR maybe a year ago. I think it was exactly a year ago. And I started using it again recently, and I just really like it. It's the Armani liquid eyeshadow. Eye tint, that's right. It's the Armani eye tint, and the color name has worn away, but I'll link it. It'll be in the description box. As you can, I think, see, the color, similar to the MAED Beauty, the one that's on my lips, the color is deep enough so that it can be built up and it's impactful, and it's a nice sort of neutral, grungy brown, but it can be sheared out. And it's hard to see on camera, I think right now. Oh, you can see it. It's got a very pleasing sheen and even a little bit of sparkle, so that when you put it on quite sheer, which is what I have been doing, it has some texture. You know, it has a little bit of character, and then it dries down and is very sturdy. Both of these I would say are eye tints. Like this is the Urban Decay one is also an eye tint, like a shimmery eye tint, but with texture and character and a very pleasing, like grungy neutrality. So that is really what I'm into for eyes right now. I have been putting more eye makeup on lately than I usually do, and I've been leaning heavily on both of those for daytime, kind of everyday wearable but slightly glamorous eye looks. And I know you're going to want to know what is on my eyes now, because who wouldn't? I mean, look at that. I'm just so obsessed. You would think maybe that it is just one of these, but it's not. I've really kicked it up a notch. Often I've been wearing just one of these with a little bit of eye kohl, which is another thing that's in here. I'll tell you about it really quickly. So Hung Van Gogh is a new brand in Sephora, and he's a makeup artist, and they sent me a bunch of things actually. And weirdly, a couple of brands have sent me eyeliners lately, like eye kohls, various things that can be used for this task. So in my box of things that I'm testing and that I could use to do my makeup, but also kind of test for review, there are a number of eyeliners right now. And this is the one that I keep using. I keep ignoring all of the other ones to use this one. It is the Soft Velvet Kohl eyeliner in the shade Taupe. And I've just been using it. So when I go in with one of those sort of sparkly eye tint products and put a very sheer sheen of it over my lids, I've been going in with this and just putting a little bit on the waterline, the outside, maybe like the outside 1/4 of my lash line, underneath and on top, and then maybe a tiny bit on the outside 1/4 of my lower lash line, just to provide a little bit of depth. Some days I don't do it, but when I want to, I've really enjoyed using this, and it's smeary enough and sort of charcoaly enough that I could use a little brush to buff it out and get a softer look. Not quite a wing, but just buffing it out on the corner of the eyelid and maybe up a little bit for a little bit of depth. So I've been using this a lot, and it's beautifully formulated, and I wanted to mention it because I know this brand is on some people's radars now because it's new in Sephora. However, I know. So Matt Bernstein, my dear friend, I will link him down below. If you're not listening to his podcast and following him on Instagram, what are you doing? Matt is beautiful and just does an amazing job with his eye makeup. Pretty recently, I pulled up one of his podcast episodes to watch and listen to while I was cooking dinner. It came up, I looked at his eyes and I was like, I have to know what it is. Like, what is making his eyes look so drenched? So I texted him right away. We had a little back and forth about it, and he was very like, it's just this thing I've been doing, like very blasé, and said it's just like a brown or neutral eyeshadow buffed out all over the lids, and then something that's just sort of sheer, very sheer, and just sparkle, just fine sparkle on top of it. Something like Fenty Diamond Balm. I think it might have been Diamond Balm in that video. I'm not sure if he actually confirmed that, but it's one of the things that he sometimes uses to get that look. And it just made me hunger to try Fenty Diamond Balm again and to use it in that capacity, because originally this was like a highlight, right? But thinking back on it, because I had this for years, I hit pan on it, I used it, I destroyed it, the cover, it broke, the cover came off. I eventually let it go and it was at the very end of its life. Some of you may remember. I have had this for a really long time, but I always thought of it more as a highlight. I'm sure I used it on my eyes sometimes, but I don't remember having the relationship with it that Matt described, really thinking of it as a topper, as an eye topper. As is my tendency, I didn't immediately buy it. I just thought about it. I put it in my Sephora cart and I thought about it and I was like, sometime in the next year, I'll probably buy Fenty Diamond Balm and see how it goes between us. Fast forward to the Creators and Friends White Elephant stealing game. One of the bundles had Fenty Diamond Balm in it. How many carats in it? And as soon as someone unwrapped it in the circle, I was like, that's what I'm going to steal if I roll the right number. I spent the entire game trying to steal this back from Ash, Dr. Ash, and her makeup. I will totally link, a beautiful and delightful content creator. And we kept like stealing the bundle. Whenever one of us would roll the correct number, we would like steal the bundle back from the person. I was determined to end up with it because I really, really wanted how many carats. So we got to the end of the game. I had been the lucky one who had most recently rolled the lucky numbers and I had stolen it back from Ash. The game ended and we were talking to each other across this like pretty big circle. It was like we were talking to each other while everybody was just in chaos after the game. And I was like, I've had this in my Sephora cart for months because I've been wanting it for months. And then Ash was like, I was stealing it for the perfume because in the same bundle, there was like a YSL perfume that I couldn't have cared less about. And I was like, I just laughed and just like slid it across the circle to her because she had been stealing the bundle for the perfume and I'd been stealing it for the Fenty when neither of us cared about the other one. And so she ended up with the perfume and I ended up with the one that I wanted. And it would be exaggerating to say that not a day has gone by without me putting this on my eyes. That would be exaggerating by a little bit. For the whole rest of the Creators and Friends retreat, it was this all over my eyes. And I've been doing exactly what Matt said, although I think Matt has been using like a darker eyeshadow because his looks are more dramatic. His eye looks are more dramatic and just a little bit more airbrushed, like perfected than what I've been doing. I've been doing this, using something really light, like an eye tint, then putting a light dab of how many carats on top. And I'm so pleased with it. And sometimes I put it all over my brow bone and bring it down into my cheeks. I was doing that a lot at the retreat when everyone was very glammed up. In my everyday life, it makes more sense just as the perfect topper, the absolutely perfect, drenched, wet look, but still kind of subtle lid topper. And I'm so happy that I ended up with it in that game. Life update. I feel like I have how many carats again? I feel like it's a life update. I didn't even show it to you. I mean, yeah, so good. It's just clear with fine glitter in it. Not even ultra fine, just fine silver, sort of like that sheer bright silver. That's what that product is, in case you haven't touched it before. But that's what that shine is. All right, all that remains is to tackle this daunting, unexpected pile of scent because I historically have loved perfume, especially vanilla gourmands, but unusual sort of herbal vanillas. I did a perfume collection tour a long time ago, back when I lived in LA, had a lot of different scents, loved wearing scent, but not just when I was pregnant, but also in, I would say like the year and a half after giving birth, I've really not had much of an interest in scent. I've been wearing one amazing kind of light herbal scent, which is the 6th from Vyrao. Oh my God. Basil, but make it perfume. It's like basil, but make it sexy. Unbelievable. But it's not too heavy and cloying, and it doesn't kind of sour on the skin, stick around. It's just this really, really lovely. I really, really like this. I have slowly tiptoed back into scent with this, but for a long time, even after that, I was just feeling like I'll use that once in a while, but I really don't want to be like a scented person walking around wafting clouds of scent. However, the worm has turned and suddenly I do want to be a scented person. Not too strong. So the worm has turned in that suddenly I'm interested in wearing one scent one day and another scent another. I think also I'm just getting a little bit more mobile. Like my child is 2. I've been able to go on some trips. I've been able to go out to more events. I've been able to go out dancing more. My life is starting to open up a little bit, and that's allowing me to have occasions on which to wear scent. So all of a sudden, and it truly feels like it has happened overnight, I have been testing a bunch of scents and I have a lot to say about them, but I have been filming for a long time, so it's not that much. We can get through it, okay? I will say that some scents have come in PR that are like really fruity or really, what's the word? It's not a word, but so many scents just smell like the perfume section of Sephora only, and nothing more nuanced than that. I feel like so many perfumes smell that way. So when perfumes come in PR and they are that way, those have not made it to this day, right? I've given them away. I also am not that interested anymore in those really bowl you over sort of one note gourmand, just really, really intense, super sweet perfumes. Although this one I'm about to tell you about is essentially that. This is Queen's Caramel by Ellis Brooklyn. I've kept it around. It is essentially that. It's extremely sweet, but it has a bit of musk to it. It has something grounding it that caused me to not immediately give it away to my cousin or one of her friends, which is the people I usually give my scents away to, the ones that come in PR. There's just something, there's something just a little bit enticing. It's like a little bit burnt on the tail end of it, a little bit of burnt caramel. And I've hung on to it because I think it might make a nice layering scent in the winter. That's all I'm going to say. It doesn't need to be an essay, Hannah. Merit Retrospect, I'm not sure I ever have even talked about on camera since it was released. The bottle is beautiful. This is the opposite of like those one note. It's the opposite of both of the things I despise. It's the opposite of the super one note, kind of like drenched blunt instrument of a scent that those have become so popular lately. It's extremely almost old fashioned in how mature and complex it feels. It's just got a lot going on. And it also doesn't smell anything like the perfume section of Sephora. The opening note is a very strong pear, but it's a little bit of a powdery pear. And then when it dries down, to me, this smells exactly like, sort of like a more sophisticated version of the original Glossier You. On me, at least, it really gives Glossier You. And I think the base notes are similar to those of Glossier You. It just has this like pear opening, this powdery complexity, this slightly almost old-fashioned classic perfume quality. The other thing about it is it doesn't have very much longevity. So I tend to wear a lot of this when I wear it. It feels very much like a grown-up perfume, but it's not cloying or overbearing. It's really interesting, and it has pros and cons. Definitely has some pros and cons. I liked it when I first got it, but I didn't get super into wearing it. And then recently I've gotten more into wearing it because I've been layering it, and I've mostly been layering it with Future Society Invisible Woods, which is one of those extremely addictive, kind of like molecular wood isotope scents. Like it just makes you you smell it and you just want to keep smelling it. Smelling is like so addictive. It's also got a little bit of freshness, soap, almost like clean from the shower. It is so good. It's a bit strong for me right now. This is more similar to the things I used to be into. Kind of Centella 33 vibes, but it's definitely not a dupe for that at all. Just similar like herbal, woody addictiveness. Heady, you know? This person smells really good, you know? So what I find is that if I put a little bit of this on, sort of close to the skin, on my skin, and then a lot of Merit Retrospect on top, more hair clothing kind of thing. They work together beautifully, and then this has the longevity that Retrospect doesn't have. I've been wearing them together as my go-to when I have somewhere to be. Okay, so when I was going home from the Catskills event, the Creators and Friends event, across from the train station, there was a little cafe, and I was with Linda of Glitter Fallout. I will link Linda's Instagram and YouTube. And actually, Linda made a really beautiful vlog of the Catskills Topicals trip. So if you want to know what it was like, watch Linda's vlog. She's amazing. So Linda and I were on the train together. We had the same train. So we were together in this little shop waiting for our train. And the shop had this cute little restaurant and then had a beautiful little gift area. And it was like a coffee shop as well. And we were poking around and we came across this perfume and candle brand called Flicker and Flora. I haven't even looked them up. It's a small brand. Oh my God, it smells so good. So this scent is called Hildegard of Bingen. I don't know if I can remember all of the notes, but it definitely has a strong kind of honey and maybe cardamom opening, but settles down to something. Oh, it's really, really cozy, gourmand, but not too sweet. Linda and I both smelled it and we both completely fell for it and we tried it on and we were both going back and forth like, should we buy it? Should we not? And in the end, we both bought it. So we both got like this scent memory souvenir together of that. It reminds me of the trip. It reminds me of that beautiful morning with Linda. And I feel like this is the kind of thing that I would wear, the kind of scent I would wear like at home. You know, sometimes just put on at home, or some people wear perfume to sleep, to go to sleep. It's really comforting, cozy, also will be really good for the fall and winter. But it's, again, this person smells really good, but not in an intimidating way, in a homey way. I think more than anything, to me, it smells like a very fragrant honey, but it's more nuanced. It's lighter, but also more complex than that. And you know, it also really reminds me of the Lush Blackberry Bath Bomb. If you know what that smells like, it's that. And I used to really love that bath bomb scent. I need to stop smelling it. It's so beautiful. Okay, Fleur Vanilla Smoke. I bought this because Simbri had this in the Catskills and I was so intrigued by it and I smelled hers. It really does smell like a fragrant, burning stick of vanilla. Now that I have it and I've put it on, it's a body spray. It's intense. It's not like watered down because it's a body spray instead of an eau de parfum. It's a bit on the nose. It's very strong. It's aggressive. It's aggressively vanilla smoke. It's aggressively that like burnt woods smell with a bit of a tonka bean undertone. I like it. I think if I was going to be outdoors, like at a beer garden or like a festival or something, I would like to drench myself in this before going to that because it's very that. It probably will be better, again, for outdoor adventures in the winter. Definitely a fall winter scent. It's a bit strong. It's a bit on the nose. It's a bit past self for me. It is almost as though the smoke scent is artificial. It's like a little too strong and a bit artificial. So I loved when I smelled it on Simbri and when I smelled the bottle that she had to see if I wanted it, I was like, oh yeah, that's so amazing. And now that I have it, it's a bit much for me. We haven't bonded yet. I'm still kind of figuring it out. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. This was PR from Noise. The perfume is called Only Human. It arrived. It's a new launch. They sent it to me because they just launched it. It arrived. I took it out. I smelled it and I was like, it smells kind of familiar, but I didn't know what it was. But I got really excited. I was like, this smells very familiar. What is this? Brings back memories, but I didn't know what it was. So I put it on and I was like, whoa, there's something extraordinary about this, but I couldn't remember what it was. Went about my day, right? I went about my day and I was like, I'll figure it out later. That evening, so it has the longevity. That evening I was sitting around, I smelled my wrist and I was like, it's Vanille 44. I don't know if they did it, if they meant to do, how could they do it without meaning to? This isn't a dupe brand. At least I wasn't getting any kind of signals of dupe brand from them. They have a different scent in their lineup that is their viral vanilla scent, and this isn't that. Vanille 44 is the Paris exclusive Le Labo scent that used to be my signature scent. Like for all of my 20s and most of my 30s, a decade of my life, I would say, Vanille 44 was my scent. It's the Le Labo scent that you can only buy in Paris. But once in a while, I think for like 2 weeks in September, it becomes available to purchase online, I think every year. And I would always get the smallest like spray vial that was available. And then I would just make it last, make it last, make it last. It is an herbal vanilla. It's like they always say at Le Labo, it kind of creates the feeling of vanilla without actually having vanilla or smelling like vanilla. It's just an extremely complex, alluring, addictive, unusual herbal vanilla that I have had smelled like for 10 plus years. I had smelled like for 10 plus years. I've used up the last bottle I had of it years ago and haven't repurchased it. And I had sort of closed the door on that because it is so nostalgic for me and I'm ready to start over with perfume and, you know, with other scents and with a new sort of scent identity. However, this smells exactly like Vanille 44 to me. If you know Vanille 44, y'all, it is a dupe. How could it be anything else? How could it not be intentional? I need to know what they say about it. Noise, only human. A skin-hugging gourmand that evokes the warmth of connection. No two humans will wear it the same. Vanilla bean, ambroxan, cedar wood, pink pepper, Italian bergamot, water lily, bamboo, vanilla bean, ambroxan, cedar wood. I don't remember water lily and bamboo as notes in Vanille 44. This is Vanille 44. Ambery, incensey, woody, sexy, vanilla disguised, a vanilla that doesn't smell like vanilla. Where are the notes? Bergamot, incense, mandarin, gaiac. So it's not an exact match. The notes aren't an exact match. To me, the scent, at least the way that it wears on me, the way that it smells on me. But it's very similar, right? Conceptually very similar. And it would be, if they did do it on purpose, make a dupe on purpose, or if it's inspired by, it would be suspicious if they said that it had the exact notes. But it's conceptually the same. And the thing that matters, my friends, is that it smells the same. It smells the same. That was a thrill and kind of inspired this whole video because that happened and I was like, I have to tell my subscribers about this. And then I was like, and all these other things too. And now here we are, like an hour and a half later. There's one more scent on the table here. Vyrao, again, they make the 6th, which is my current signature scent, I would say. They've released these 2 scents. When I first saw them, I was like, is this a Valentine's Day release? Because those are the vibes, which is like the exact opposite time of year. Maybe it was supposed to be and it got delayed because they're these like sensual scents. Both of them have a cheeky note of latex in them. One of them is more of a gourmand. It's like a lighter. And then this one is like the darker. This one's called Ludatrix and it's supposed to be sort of the darker one. And it has a little bit of cherry in it. And I've been intrigued by cherry. I think cherry is kind of trending in scents right now. I've been intrigued by cherry since the Tom Ford cherry scent. So they offered to send one of them to me and this was the one that I selected. The fruit is a little bit not me, it feels. And it does have a slight drop of the like perfume section of Sephora vibe. It smells a little bit more like a perfume for going like clubbing, you know? But I think that's what they meant to do with this. And overall, it's pretty wearable. I've worn it a couple of times and it's been fine for me. It just feels like it's not quite in my comfort zone. And it's probably just because of that cherry note, but it dries down to something pretty wearable. And I don't know, I'm hanging on to it for now instead of giving it away because it introduces some nuance and kind of edginess and excitement, sparkle into my current perfume wardrobe. So I wanted to mention that as well because it's a new release. And that's it, my friends. We did it. We've made it to the end. This was fun. I have been reconnecting with my inner passionate reviewer with doing that long video about my handbag collection and now this. I'll try to continue to sprinkle this calm but hopefully useful, kind of focused product interrogation content through the rest of the year. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you put this on to fall asleep, I hope you're sleeping soundly right now and having sweet dreams. And I really hope you're taking extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.